listening to the Pharmacy Podcast Network.
You're listening to the NASP Specialty Pharmacy Podcast, a collaboration between the National Association of Specialty Pharmacy and the Pharmacy Podcast Network. It's the only podcast on this network designed to keep pace with important developments in the dynamic and rapidly changing specialty pharmacy sector of our profession. Our episodes provide information on clinical and technical topics that are vital to the diverse mix of stakeholders that make up this unique and growing industry. Recognizing NASP's mission to elevate the practice of specialty pharmacy through professional education, certification, while advocating for affordability and helping to create better patient access to specialty medications from the pharmacy of their choice. The Pharmacy Podcast Network is a proud partner of NASP. Subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or any podcast directory.
Hello, my name is Sheila Arquette, and I'm the President and CEO of the National Association of Specialty Pharmacy. I am delighted to welcome a very special guest to the NASP podcast for our discussion entitled Shipment Trackers, Helping Pharmacies Save on Shipping Expense. But before we dive in, let's start with an introduction. Here with me today is Jordan Matthews, Sales and Business Development with Shipment Trackers. Jordan is experienced in sales, marketing, and business development with a background built from advertising, healthcare, and pharmaceutical industries. He has worked with companies like Lamar Advertising, Smith & Nephew, and Novo Nordisk. Jordan joined Shipment Trackers in 2022 to help address the problem of patients receiving delayed medication shipments. His focus is to help pharmacies save money with Shipment Trackers shipping audit services. Jordan, to start off with, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and about Shipment Trackers?
Yeah, certainly. And I appreciate you having me here today. I'm very excited for this opportunity. My background stems from pharmaceutical sales primarily and the ins and outs of pharmacies. I spent a lot of time with those as call points for me when I was selling insulin, when I was selling Ozempic for Novo Nordisk, and prior to that as well with Smith & Nephew, where I was selling Santyl. So I got pretty good relationships built from that and spending time around that atmosphere. And then realized the problem of delayed medication shipments with my, primarily my insulin products. So that insulin was coming late, and I'm sitting there thinking, well, this has become such a burden to have to kick back this medication, get new medication in, all of those things where it spoils, where there's nothing you can do about it. And the opportunity with Shipment Trackers came up, and I said, well, that's an opportunity I have to take, because Shipment Trackers focuses on audit services where we can help recover money on shipments that do not meet guaranteed service expectations and shipments that are lost, undelivered, damaged, things along those lines. So there's definitely a need, and I'm excited to share more about that.
Great. So can you tell us, how does Shipment Trackers audit service work?
Yeah, so our audit service it's very basic, actually. So how it works is we would connect with a pharmacy, and all we would have to do is get a service agreement in place. We don't operate off a contract, so we just get a service agreement that says, okay, here's the service that's being provided. And that's also going to include a FedEx and or a UPS billing online username and password for login purposes, or that can just be shared with us from an account. Once we have that, that gives us the opportunity to start looking at tracking numbers, start looking at invoices within that pharmacy's information. And what we're looking for is how much express are they shipping? How much ground are they shipping? Your express with FedEx and UPS has a guarantee on it for next day delivery as long as it's held in that contract still. So we look for those late deliveries. If it's due at 10 o'clock, as soon as 10:01 hits, we'll identify that. If it was not delivered on time, we go after a refund for that cost. So that recovery is then placed back on the invoice.
So it's that easy.
It's that easy. And we also, have other services around that, but really the focus being on that simple recovery of, hey, it's late. You were promised a guarantee. Somebody has to be held accountable here. You deserve your money back. So we're going to help you get it. Because far too often we see people just missing that, right? Because it is extremely difficult to track every single shipment going out of a pharmacy when you're sending tons of packages every day. So we're here to do all the heavy lifting. The client does not have to do anything. Once we have that login, we're up and running. You'll get some nice reports every week. You'll get refunds on your invoices. I mean, it's really just a big win to help cut back on shipping costs.
And just to make sure that I understand it correctly, so our specialty pharmacies, they pay extra for that guaranteed delivery?
So the guarantee falls into that high-level express category. So it's like the premier service that a FedEx or UPS offers. So typically that's the most expensive service that they're going to be able to purchase. However, that's also the one that most of them need, right? Because they need to get medications state to state quickly. So while there's no direct cost increase, you do see it when you go from a ground to a express shipment.
Great. Yes. And there's so much more. I mean, obviously the expense is huge for our pharmacies who, are under so much margin compression and reimbursement pressure. But then also there's, just the patient satisfaction piece, right, of receiving the medications late and maybe not starting therapy on time or losing that motivation to start therapy. So it's kind of deflating after, the specialty pharmacy has done so much work to get them, onboarded to a medication.
Yeah, absolutely. And, just speaking about this, I do want to touch on that ground piece just a little bit, if that's okay, because ground is so important. While your express guarantee is for express only, ground shipments can still have claim opportunity. And what that claim opportunity is your packages that are undelivered, lost, damaged, things along those lines, where we can still go after those. We have an in-house team here at Shipment Trackers that watches those claims. We'll send a report out every week of packages that we identify that have opportunity for claims. And our team will go after those as well. Typically, that's at the 20 to 30 day window of that package not being delivered, which would tell you that it's lost or damaged, something along those lines. But then in that circumstance, we can go get the cost of that product back up to $100 unless there was declared value on it, plus the cost of the shipping, the freight charge.
Wow. So what should a pharmacy do if they're told that they need to give up any refunds for better shipping rates, or they've already done that?
Yeah, so that's a great question. And time again, we continue to see this happening, right? It's pretty much become something that I'm seeing every time one of our clients is negotiating a contract with a shipping company, and they are trying to pull away from that guaranteed service. So what they'll do is, say you're talking to one of them and they'll come in and say, okay, well, here's the rates that we're going to be able to give you. You can see you're getting these awesome discounts. But if you want to get these awesome discounts, you need to sign away and put a waiver in place that we don't have to guarantee our service. And that is absolutely not true. We have hundreds of pharmacy clients, right? And these ones, all you have to do is just say no, right? Make sure that they don't push on you, because they will take it away and it is terrible to get back. But if you say no and you tell them that that's a non-negotiable, same with things like credit card payment, non-negotiable when you're negotiating. And we see strong contracts, great discounts. And guess what? They also have the ability to get refunds. That's a guaranteed service that you don't want to get rid of, especially as a pharmacy, when you need that support of getting your medication to a patient the next day.
So Jordan, here's the $1 million question. We've heard about how easy it is, right, to take advantage of your services, but what is the cost of the Shipment Tracker service?
Certainly, yeah, I'm glad you asked that question. So our service is very straightforward. We work off of a simple gain share. So what that looks like is, as members come to us, what we will do is take a look at their spend and come up with a rate split that's going to be fair for, the NASP members are going to be able to benefit from that slightly. And what we'll do with that rate split is we'll say, okay, well, this is going to be a 45% rate split. So from there, as we find credits, we will then charge 45% of the recovered fees. We do not charge if there is no recovery. We just continue to look for opportunities. But say an invoice comes in and we save you $100, that $100 will be credited back onto your invoice. And then 2 weeks or a month later, depending on how billing's set up, we'll come behind the scenes and say, hey, remember that $100 we saved you? Now we need payment for our 45% or $45. So that's how we structure our rate for that. It's very straightforward. It's just that gain share. And like I said, there's nothing there that's going to have to charge you any money, anything like that. You'll just be able to continue to use our service. And as we find stuff, you will see everything recorded on the invoices to tie back to what we found. So that invoice will have tracking number, invoice number, and then show the credits that we pulled from that exact invoice. So everything is detailed and tied back to where it came from.
Jordan, does Shipment Trackers offer any type of discount to their fellow NASP members?
Yeah, we absolutely do. So any of our NASP members that come to Shipment Trackers to sign up for our service will receive a discount. That'll just be dependent on how we set them up and what that looks like on their spend level. But that discount will definitely be included for NASP members coming over onto Shipment Trackers service.
So how can somebody get in touch with you to learn more about the service, and how do they contract or partner with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can do that a couple different ways. You can either go on our website, shipmenttrackers.com. There is a form you could fill out there that will come over to me, or you can just send me an email. My email is simple. It's just jordan@shipmenttrackers.com. And I monitor that every day. So if somebody shoots me a message, I'll get back with them pretty quick, and we can get up and running on that, basic service agreement to start looking at those refund recoveries.
Awesome. Well, do you have anything else that you'd like to share with our specialty pharmacy stakeholders?
The only thing I can think is just, to remind you that do not give up your refunds, right? Because whether it's us auditing it or it's not being audited, you still want to have that in place. So I cannot stress the importance of keeping those refunds, and as they partner with us, we'll be able to help put them in the best place possible with their shipping contracts with FedEx and UPS to, help drive their costs down and make it more efficient for the pharmacy.
Well, thank you so much, Jordan, for sharing all this valuable information. And as a reminder, NASP corporate members are invited to be my guest on one complimentary podcast per year. For more information on this or other NASP membership benefits and events, please feel free to reach out to us at info@naspnet.org or visit our website at www.naspnet.org.